Hey guys, my name is Umbra, and welcome to this Rainbow Six Siege beta review of sorts, I suppose. It's more my impressions of the game, how I feel it is, that kind of thing. So I think I'll start with the main features of the game, the things that set it apart from a somewhat crowded genre, which is now the first-person shooter. And then afterwards, I'll go more into my opinion of the game, what's good, what's bad, and then perhaps a final score, that sort of thing. So without further ado, let's begin. So by far the newest and biggest thing in the franchise Rainbow Six Siege is the operator system. Operators are basically your classes. You can select from, I think it's 14 in the open beta. I think there was more or a different variation in the closed beta. I know a friend said there was a couple missing that he liked from the other one. I didn't get into the closed beta, but having played the open beta, there's 14 to pick from. They're basically creator class, but in essence, each operator has different sets of weapons from the others, and they also have a special ability. So, for example, as you can see on the screen now, Pulse, his special ability is that he can see heartbeats with the sensor through walls from a certain distance. I've not used him, it sounds overpowered, but I've not seen a lot of people use it extensively. I remember in the closed beta people said it was a bit overpowered, but I haven't seen too many balancing issues. There are a couple that I'll go through later on, which is more my gripes with the game. There are a couple, but all in all, it's pretty good, and I like the system. It is good, and you can unlock any that you want from the get-go. So as soon as you go up a level, pretty much, you get enough. I think they're Rainbow Six Siege points, or what was it, renown? I think they call it in the game. You can then unlock an operator with that. And the way it does it is there's operators for different counter-terrorist organizations or units. So there's the SAS, the what was it, SWAT, the GIGN, the Spetsnaz, and there was another one that I just can't think of right now. I think it was the German one, unless that was the GIGN, but I'm pretty sure there's another German one. I can't think of it right now. Either way, each counter-terrorist unit has a different set of operators you can choose from. You can also customize their guns using more Rainbow Six Siege renown. So you can customize the guns you want. You can get the character you want first straight away. There's quite a lot of customization. I like it. It's quite in depth. The models are all really good as well. And also, as you will have seen before, when it went on the bio of Castle, when I went on it before. Sorry for that. You would have seen that there's different armor and speed classes. So different operators can take more damage than each other, and different operators can also move quickly compared to others. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, when it comes to the different game modes, the entirety of the game is online because I was hoping, because the servers were so bad and because my internet isn't great anyway, that I would be able to go on like a lone wolf variation, as it calls it. It's like a single player variation of Terrorist Hunt, which is what you're seeing on screen now. But you actually have to be online to use that. So to go and be single player and play a single player mode, you have to be online to activate it. So it didn't turn out to be what I was hoping for. Anyway, regardless, there are two game modes. There are multiplayer, or at least there wasn't a beta. There was multiplayer and there was Terrorist Hunt. Now, Terrorist Hunt is what you're seeing right now, and it's players versus AI, and it was pretty tricky actually. It was good fun actually. I really did enjoy playing this game mode. Much more than I thought it would. It wasn't just a horde mode. It was you have to break into somewhere. Basically, you have to siege it. You're the attackers. You can pick any attacking operator, but you can't pick a defending operator because there's no defending. You're attacking. So you have to defuse two bombs, and that's the idea of it. And it's good. It was tricky. It can be difficult, especially when I first started playing on my own. I thought, oh, I'll try this so I get a feel of everything. Then I'll go multiplayer. I got absolutely owned, but it was good fun. As you can see here, you have to be quite tactical with it. This right now is the multiplayer. And in the multiplayer, there are two modes. There is your regular defuse the bombs, and there is an objective, hold the objective mode. You can't pick to choose between them, which was a bit annoying. It was just multiplayer, and then it randomly did it. And I think there was a map rotation of 3 maps. I can only really think of 2, but 2 sounds too little, so I think there was 3. Was there 3? Yeah, I think there was 3. There could have just been 2, I'm not quite sure, to be honest. But yeah, the multiplayer was very solid. I really enjoyed doing that. The terrorist hunt was very good, like I've said. And the last thing about features-wise is there were a couple of tutorials. They were very basic. They did help, and they gave me renown points, which is another reason I could afford operators. So that's good. So now we've gone through what I think the main features of the game are. I think I should probably talk about how I feel of the game in general, how it works, that kind of stuff. Just my opinion. So I think we'll probably start with the good things. You know, let's get it going. Let's get the hype train rolling. So we'll start with the good points. So firstly, your first thing that you're going to notice is that the graphics are really good. It's a really good looking game. I'm on PlayStation 4. I'm not a PC master race. I'm basically a console peasant. I can't afford, nor do I have the time to invest into a PC that's good for gaming. So yeah, I'm on a console. The graphics are really good. It looks really solid. When stuff blows up, that looks really nice. The guns all look great. The character models look great. The buildings are great. It might look bare now. Looking at this back now, this looks kind of bare. But when you're in game, the atmosphere is so tense. It's so thick. It's really good. It doesn't feel bare when you're in game. It feels just right. It feels real. It feels like you're really in that building. You're really having to breach the building. You know, it's good. Another good thing is that the HUD feels, in the game, it feels somewhat minimalistic to me. When I'm actually playing, it feels quite minimalistic. Looking at it again, in hindsight, looking at it now, it looks quite clogged and filled up. But if you actually look at it really, the HUD is tiny. It's very small. It's been reduced in size. Like I've said before, it's minimalistic and it's good. It really improves the atmosphere of the game. It really, really is a good point, and I love it. There's just the amount of information you need. Looking at it like this, it doesn't look very helpful at all. It looks kind of alien. But I'll just go through it real quickly. On the very bottom left corner, when you prone, or when you go prone, sorry, or where you crouch, it tells you as a little indicator there, I'm crouched. So there's a man crouching. We've seen that in so many other games. The thing next to it that looks like a train track with a 0 is how many reinforcements I have. And what reinforcements are is you can reinforce segments of a wall so that the enemy team cannot breach them. However, there is an operator who has a counter to this called Thermite, and he can destroy walls even when they're reinforced. But that's just one character, and the enemy team has to have picked him. So really, it's like a safety net. It's not completely, because of course there's Thermite, which starts to bring in the tactics of it. I'll go through that a little bit more in a minute. But yeah, it's just so I'm going through the HUD. The 100 next to the Bulletproof Vest shows you how much health, also shows you your armor variant. So as you can see, the bottom two segments of the Bulletproof Vest are filled right now. That's because I have a character who is level 2 armor. His armor is level 2. He's about mid. He can take, you know, a decent amount of damage, but not the most. The level 3 armor guys can take more, but he's also not as slow as the level 3 armor guys. He's quicker than them. He's got 2 speed, 2 armor. The other things it's got there is showing basically what your D-pad does for me, or I presume it would be what your buttons, your 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever you've set it to for your key binding on PC. It basically shows you what you can do. And the R1 button is my character's special ability, which is with this character, for example, he can put bulletproof barriers down, stronger barriers than normal down, which is good because I really like that character. I really like basically camping, surrounding myself with bulletproof barricades, putting a little shield up, and then checking the cameras. That's what I like doing with that character. Next to that is a compass, which shows... now the HUD is gone, so I can't see, but I'll just quickly say it. So basically, the compass just shows northwest, east, south. It also shows next to it what the area you are in is called. So I guess you could be really, really tactical with it if you wanted to be. I'm not quite that good. This footage, by the way, is from my brother. Just so if it's really bad, I can say, well, that wasn't me. Also, because he really wants me to. And I've actually, if I remember this footage correctly, this is really good footage. My brother does very well here. Yeah, he does. Right, I remember this. Sorry. This character's special ability, as you can see, is different from Castle's. This character is IQ. She can see electronics through walls. That's why her R1 looks different. Now, on the very bottom right, you can see, you know, your ammo, your magazine, how much you got in your magazine, how much you got left. And on the very top, it shows the score, it shows the timer of the round left. It also shows, as you can see there, prompts when somebody dies on another team. It'll say 3 versus 1 or 1 versus 3 or whatever. It's also got, well, now I can't see it again, but whatever. It's also got, underneath your team's side, which is always on the left, I believe. Also got what each of your teammates' operators are, who they are by their symbols, and the white bar underneath is how much health each one has, which is actually really good. Now, something I need to note here, which is a bit of a gripe with the game, I know I'm jumping between good and bad, is that the shields, and this is going to sound completely contradictory to what you're seeing right now, but the shields are a little bit overpowered. I've never had any good luck with them. Now, watching this back, I don't quite know how he killed me. He basically just seemed to shoot through the shield. But in essence, there is a bit of a balancing issue there. The shield's a little bit overpowered. But I'll go more in depth with that. That just happened to follow with the gameplay, so I'll continue with the good points. So the HUD is somewhat minimalistic, which is good. That keeps its tense atmosphere going. Another good thing is the gameplay is so addictive. It's really good fun. As you can see here, I'm sat on the cameras because it has to be tactical. Now, what I didn't realise is they were right outside. So I got kind of lucky here. Well, I got incredibly lucky here. But this turned out to be a really good play. So you have to be very tactical. You have to keep looking on your cameras. If your team isn't looking on your cameras, you don't know what's going on. I go on the cameras a lot, and I rack up the points from that, which is good. The developers are obviously trying to encourage you to use the cameras. Be tactical. I've had a game where I've not killed anyone in all of the rounds, but I've come by far the top player on my team. I've got the most renown points, simply because I kept marking the enemies. As you can see here, I didn't know that he was coming in. Okay, but thanks to me looking at the camera, I knew. I also know now that this other guy, thanks to using the cameras, is by a window. He's on the other side of a window. Okay, so this is why it's important. Another good thing is you have to move around a lot, and I will say that's something that's also good about the game. The movement system, it works. The hitboxes, they work. As you can see here, I hit him in the back with a shotgun. He's dead straight away. Okay, the hitboxes work. Every gun, another good thing is, as you can see here, every gun feels powerful. Whether you're using the carbines, the SMGs, submachine guns, the assault rifles, the shotguns, the shields, the pistols, they all feel powerful. Because at the end of the day, guns are powerful. You know, guns kill people. That's what they're designed to do. So no matter what size of the gun or whatever, it's going to kill someone in a couple shots. So I like that about this game. It feels real. I will say that's another thing that just continues to come through this game. It feels realistic. Now, as you can see here, this is another cool moment. There's so many good moments in this game like this. You can go upside down, you can breach, you can shoot through floors to break in. Another thing that is important with this game mode is friends. Right, I don't know if you can hear it right now, but underneath this commentary, I'm actually talking with a friend, and I'm telling him that there's a person with a shield on this other side of this wall. I can tell because my character has this electronics gadget. I can tell there's an enemy electronics gadget. I get, again, lucky here. There is a bit of luck as well as skill. So yeah, I get quite lucky there. So that's what's good about this game. The gameplay is fantastic. It's phenomenal. Working with friends, it's so gratifying. Working with friends, you just feel like an unstoppable, well-oiled machine when you play this game with friends. It's so much fun, and I would recommend doing so, because if you're going to play on your own, you're going to be at a disadvantage. It's still going to be enjoyable. I've played a lot on my own, and it is enjoyable, but you're going to be at a little bit of a disadvantage. You know, that's the way all games are, really. Another thing that I like about this game, I know I'm rambling on a lot, but the matter of the fact is, there's a lot about this game I want to talk about. So another thing I really enjoy about this game is how hardcore, how raw, and how brutal it feels. I know that the hardcore Rainbow Six fans have said this game is so much easier than normal, it's so much more arcadey than normal. But I am someone who has grown up with Call of Duty, and only 3 years ago played Battlefield 3, and I thought that was a hardcore game. I really enjoyed Battlefield. I enjoyed Battlefield 4, but I really enjoyed it. I felt it was a lot more grown up than Call of Duty. It just felt more advanced. As you can see here, you have to be quite tactical. I'm just running around by his feet with a drone, and it works because my teammate, I don't know if you can see, but in the back, comes from behind them and kills them. So it's stuff like that. It's just moments like that that really make this game. It's so enjoyable. The gadgets that people can use. So, for example, the drone you just saw me using then, the different abilities, they're so well done. Each one feels slightly unique. They all do. The most ununique character in the whole of it is Castle. And unfortunately for me, he's my favourite maybe behind this character, IQ, who can see gadgets through walls. I really enjoy doing that. I know a lot of people like another character who has a night vision sniper rifle, stuff like that. There's just each one feels so unique, and the guns feel wonderful to use. Um, it might look, I know I saw gameplay of it before, and it really put me off. It looked repetitive. It looked boring. It sounded repetitive. You know, all I can say is it's not. It's hard to explain why it's not, but it's not. It's not repetitive in the slightest. It's so much fun. It's enjoyable. It's really, really good. I don't know how else to put it, is what I'm trying to get across. It's not repetitive. It's not repetitive. If anything, it's addictive. It's hugely addictive. I've not stopped playing, apart from the server issues. Now, we've said so many good points. You think, God, this game must be perfect. Why on earth would people not buy this game? This is incredible. The gameplay is good, the guns are good, it looks good, it sounds good. Oh yeah, the sound's phenomenal as well. I don't know if I mentioned that. The sound's good, working with a friend's good. Why would I not enjoy this? And what I'm going to say is a good and a bad point, and that's how I'm going to kind of segue into the bad points. Friendly fire is permanently enabled. Okay? Personally, when I first heard this, when I first played the game, when I first saw this, I thought this is great. Oh my god, I can't believe games don't have friendly fire. So many games don't have friendly fire. This is great. It's so up my alley because I loved hardcore Call of Duty for that very reason. There was friendly fire. You had to be careful. I loved it. It's a good and a bad thing, and I'll tell you why. It's good, then it's there. Okay, it is, because it makes it more real, which is what the game's going for. If it didn't have friendly fire, it just lost all realness, didn't it, really? So it does feel real thanks to it. The reason it's bad is just because you have so many trolls, you have so many people that just go around shooting teammates in the face, as you would expect, right? All game companies should really expect that, and I'm sure that Ubisoft have. But the issue is, the penalties for friendly fire, for killing your own team, are not severe enough, I think. Yes, right, I have killed teammates by accident, and loads of other people have killed teammates by accident, and that's fine. I don't want you to get insta-kicked for killing someone on friendly fire, otherwise what's the point of it being there? You know what I mean? But too many times do I see people not realizing you can kick your teammates. You start a game, and the game will start as you as the attackers going in as the drones, and the next thing, someone in the enemy team will just kill 3 of their teammates. Now it's 2 versus 5, or they'll kill everyone, and then it's 1 versus 5. It just ruins it for me. Well, that's it. That's it ruined now. We're against one person. We're just going to storm in and kill you. It ruins it. Hell, I've been killed by teammates before. Hell, I was Castle, and I broke down a teammate's barrier, or barricade, whatever, and replaced it with mine because mine was stronger, and he just shot me in the back of the head for doing it. Fair enough, he might have thought I was being a lousy teammate, but I wasn't. Why would you just kill me? And did he get punished? No. So, I think either there needs to be harsher punishments, or people need to understand you can kick your teammates. Because I see people just leave. So don't leave, kick him. Kick or her. Kick the person who has done that and make them understand if they want to play this game, they can't go around killing their teammates. So that is something that I think is an issue. Friendly fire is not penalised heavily enough. Okay, so now we've got that out of the way, let's start properly with the negative points. And first things first, by far my biggest gripe with the game, the thing that makes this game not perfect, the thing that ruins it, to be honest, I'm just going to come out with it, it ruins it. The terrible servers. The servers are so bad. It's been dreadful, it's been appalling, it's been horrendous. Whatever way you want me to say it, I'm saying it. It's so that you know just how bad it is. It's ridiculous how bad this is and how amateurish this is from Ubisoft, which are supposed to be a big, big company, and they have royally messed up this time. I don't know how it can be fixed either, because they've assured people, oh, don't worry, when the game launches, this will be fine. The truth of the matter is, you have more, yes, you have more people playing this, because it's free. More people than you will have when the game comes out. Simple as, because it's free. Some people will not buy this game, okay? Some people won't. Just the way it is. But the matter of the fact is, this game comes out from now, from when I'm recording this, in 2 days. 2 days. What are you possibly going to do that's so drastic that will fix that? Well, you're going to have more servers. Is that it? I hope so, because I don't see any other way of fixing it. There is no other way of fixing it. And they've not turned around and said it's a simple, oh, we didn't have enough server issue. Okay, they've not said that. That's what worries me. Most gaming companies by now will have said that and will have assured everyone. So that really, really bothers me about this game. That is why I'm going to say right now, before the review's even over, you can stop watching after I say this, but don't pre-order. Do not pre-order the game. Because at the end of the day, I don't want you paying 60 quid for a video game that doesn't work. Okay, the matter of the fact is, the single player, to even go on single player, you have to be online. So what, if their servers are down, that's it. Because when their servers were down, I couldn't even go on the single player. I couldn't even play on my own. That's what I'm saying. Okay? What are you supposed to do at the end of the day? So yeah, don't pre-order it. Wait. Just even if it's just one day, just that's all I'm saying. Hell, an hour after it's out, people will say whether it's bad or not. Okay? Because look at that. Look at what you just watched. Someone came in, they weren't looking at me, and they managed to turn around and kill me. Okay? On my screen, that wasn't like that. Am I leaving? No, I got kicked. Right? Yes, that's a little bit explicit. I'm sorry. Okay? But that's how I was feeling. Let's just stick Fallout 4 on. Okay? The server errors need sorting. This is ridiculous. So, yeah, that was my feelings at the time. The way it is. Yeah, okay. What else is wrong with it? The next few things I'm going to say, they're not as big a deal. They're an issue for me. They're not as big a deal as the friendly fire not having a harsh enough penalty, and it's not as big a deal nearly as the server errors. Because it's just an integral part with the way they've got their infrastructure of the game that's wrong, and that's hard to fix in such a short space of time. So that worries me the most. The next couple things, they're much more minor than the others, and they can be fixed in a much easier way. I mean, they're still gripes, so I'll still go through them, but these next ones just aren't as big an issue as the others. So if you have heard what you want to hear now, if you've heard your biggest worries, you feel free to go now. So, what else do I think is wrong with the game? Poor balancing. There is poor balancing. Shielded characters just have an edge. There were two attacking operators in this beta, Montagna and Blitz, and they are just able to storm into a room on their own, and a good player can take out the entire enemy team. A good player. I mean, obviously there are some counters. There was a Nitrocell, which is essentially C4, which could be used, but that was pretty much it. And like I said, a good character with the shielded characters can just get away from that easily. I had a friend of mine who was good at Blitz, and he was pretty much unstoppable. He could take on an entire team on his own. So there's clearly a balancing issue with the shielded characters. We've known that for a while. Ubisoft, hopefully they sort it out. Like you will have seen from my footage, I never had any good luck. That's why I haven't got any decent footage with them. But I'm sure that if you search around, you'll find out. Well, you'll find some good footage, and you'll realize just how powerful they can be. Another balancing issue is that slow characters seem to have a massive disadvantage compared to the faster characters. And that's simply because all the characters, regardless of their armor value, seem frail, seem like they can't take many bullets. Now, obviously, I'm sure that other people will disagree, and I'm sure some people will do really well with slow characters. I've done quite well with slow characters as well. But, personally, I think the quicker characters are just better. There's no reason not to pick them. Especially the 2 armor, 2 speed. Just because you're not particularly slow, and you're not going to take that many less bullets than the 3 armor characters who are stupidly slow. So I think there maybe needs to be a little bit of tweaking in that regard. Another issue is there are hackers in the game. It's happened to me. I've seen people that have done 500 damage in one shot, for example. It's just ridiculous. Hackers ruin all games. They're prevalent in all games. One thing I would like to note that is a happier thing is I've not seen as many hackers as I would have thought normally with an FPS. Like normally you will play for about, let's say in total I've played for 7 hours. In total, it's been 3 days. I had 2 days off, so yeah, 7 hours sounds about right. Normally I would have found about 4 or 5 hackers in that amount of time, maybe more for a game like Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 4, just because their infrastructure is waning a little bit and there are a lot more hackers recently. But yeah, in the beta it was pretty good. It was pretty solid. I think I found 1 or 2 hackers in the entire time. So it's not wonderful. You know, they're there. I'm making sure you know that. Um, but yeah, it wasn't too bad. Another thing is there are bugs and there are glitches and there are a lot of them. Okay, that's something that does need sorting out. There are way too many bugs and glitches. But I suppose, I don't know. People say, well, it's a beta. Well, is it? I mean, this is pretty much the finished game. What can they do in 2 days that's so radical that made this a beta? That made this so different from the final product? You know what I mean? So beta does not have the weight it once had. So yes, it's a beta. Yes, you can say, oh well, they'll solve it. I'm going to take it with a grain of salt. So there are a lot of bugs and a lot of glitches, and the examples that I've got down here are you get stuck rappelling at walls, you'll get stuck between barriers, which seems a bit like a clipping issue. You can get stuck in the walls themselves, you can get stuck when you're trying to vault over things, especially the deployable shields are very buggy. And the turret that one of the operators use, I think it's Tachanka, that's really awkward to place down. That's something they need to sort out. You can place it down in so very limited spots that it kind of nullifies what he can do. There are some really good spots that I'm sure people will use when the game comes out. Okay, he can be very good, but he is very clunky and hard to use. So I don't think he's really a user-friendly one, just because of how awkward his turret can be. Tactical-wise, anyway, I don't think he's a good choice. Another glitch, which was the most prevalent, and probably the worst, is that people can, when they went down, they would fall through floors. So you'd be in a firefight, and your teammate would be wounded and be put to the floor in a revive state. So they go down, they haven't quite died, and then you can revive them. And that happened to one of my teammates next to me, and he fell through to the floor below, to the point that there was no way I could get down there in time. By the time, even with him holding square, which slows down the revive timer, it still took me too long to get down, get out of the firefight, get down the stairs and get to him. He had already died. So that was frustrating for all of us. A smaller, very minor thing that bothers me is the blood. It's very heavily stylized. It's very saturated. It's almost like in the films when you see the fake blood pouring out of someone going everywhere. It almost looks like that. It's very heavily stylized, and personally, it's a turn off for me because the whole game is just, it breathes real. It breathes realistic. It looks real, feels real, sounds real. The guns are realistic. The explosions are realistic. Everything feels real. You know, there's friendly fire. That's to give this promotion of it's real. So why does the blood not look real? You know, it doesn't. So that's something that bothers me. It is massively minor, because you do just overlook it and you end up acting as if it's not super saturated anyway in the end. But yeah, it almost looks like paint. That's what I was trying to think of. Paint pouring out of someone. The final negative is the game modes in the beta were quite lackluster, as in they were very bog standard. Considering how good and interesting the engine is, and how cool sieging is, I really hope this is just because it's in a beta, and I really hope it's just because there was only limited game modes to ease people in, because they could innovate so much with other game modes. I know they've announced the hostage mode, which sounds amazing. You know, neither team can kill the hostage, otherwise they lose. That just sounds amazing. That's going to be so tactical. That's going to be cool. But I hope there's more of that. You know, I just do. I hope there's more than just siege and defuse the bomb, siege and take this location. You know what I mean? So I'm gunning for that. But that could just be a beta thing, like I've said. Just because, you know, they kept it to similar game modes than we're used to, just to ease us in. I hope so anyway, because they really could go all out in this. I know that people in reviews like an overall score, so I will quickly summarise because I'm running out of time. As an overall score, I would give it a 7 out of 10. The reasons are it's got a great atmosphere, it's got really good graphics, it's got good gameplay, and it's got very good gunplay. However, there's not enough penalisation for friendly fire, the horrendous servers, it's buggy, and the lack of game modes. Overall, give it a 7 out of 10. My final word is don't pre-order, wait. because of its terrible infrastructure in the beta. I've been Umbra. Thank you for joining in. Bye bye.